Low Vision Chef presents Basic Series 2 Knife Guards and Sharper Knives.
Hi, thank you for joining Low Vision Chef for our basic series, and this is just a little bit more advanced on the knives, but we're going to throw in some guards for a little bit of protection. So if you want to step up the sharpness of your knife, but you want to throw in a knife guard so you get a little bit of protection, this would be where you want to look. So this is a new knife guard we've just taken on, and so this is my first time actually picking it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel on my vegetable where the end of it is, and I'm going to take it and stick the prongs in. It's called an onion holder, and it has very sharp prongs on it, which you stick down into your food. It's got a little white handle on the top of it with little tines, they're called. And there's, I think, probably about 15 or so of tines. I'll have somebody count them and get back to you. Anyway, and then you put that sideways and hold it with your non-dominant or non-knife hand into your vegetable or fruit, whatever you're cutting. You could even put it in meat. It's almost like a strange little fork that you can put in there with a handle on top, which keeps your food down in place, but it keeps your hand up out of the way, out of danger. And then you take your knife and find the edge of your food, and then you want to just make sure that your knife can fit in between the tines as you make your slices. So then you just take your knife and run it in between the little tines. You want to run it between each one to make little thin slices, or you want to run in between each, 3 or 4 or 5, depending on the amount of slices you want to make. That's fine. But your hand is up out of the way, and it will help you to keep your hand safe. So I'm just running my knife down it, and I've got a ceramic knife, and I've made slices in a cucumber, and then I'm just kind of checking to see how those nice slices came out. And they came out pretty good for my first time using that implement. So that's one way, and that's one guard to use. It's a nifty little device, and I think it's more usable, say, than the Safe Slice knife guard, possibly for a meat. So then I'm going to do the Safe Slice. So next, the Safe Slice knife guard, which is the guard that you put on your thumb and your index finger, and it comes in 3 different colors, and it goes on your thumb and index finger and has protective material on the side of your hand that your knife would go on, and it is silicone on the other side, which makes it soft, and it flexes back and forth with your grip of your finger, your index finger and your thumb, to pinch onto things more easily. I use my 3 fingers behind it to hold onto the item just a little bit better, to make it more comfortable for myself. And then, of course, with your dominant hand, this goes on your non-dominant hand, and with your dominant hand you grab a hold of the knife, and you take the knife up against this little block guard, and then you can cut, and then just move the knife back as you go, and get, of course, in your comfortable position, keeping the front of your knife on the cutting board and going back up against the guard so that you don't cut yourself. So that's another way to cut with a knife guard. And I'm not accustomed to using guards because I don't use a guard, so they actually make me just a little bit uncomfortable. But that is how you use them, and you do get accustomed to using them after you use them for a little bit. It's just like anything, just like riding a bicycle, you get accustomed to it. So the next guard that I have to show you is the tomato jolie slicer. And you open it up, and on the bottom of it, it's red, so I'm going to move it over here to a board that's blue to give you a little bit of color contrast, because you always want that color contrast. And I'm going to get rid of my Safe Slice knife guard because I forgot that was on my hand. It's so comfortable. So it has a coating on the bottom that makes it stay in place on your cutting board so it does not move around on you, because that's always very important. And then you open it by squeezing on the 2 bottom levers to open it. It's like one of the hair clamps you put in your hair. You squeeze the 2 bottom sections together that are near the cutting board, and you put your item in it, and then just let it go, and it squeezes back together and holds your item in place. And then it has little slice guides in it where you can go every slice or every 1, 2, 3 slices, however thick you want it, and it'll slice tomatoes, onions, and different items too. It holds them in place. I think the cucumber, which I have here today, is going to be too small for that, but you just take your knife. Again, you feel back with your fingers in the usual cutting position, come up to the side with your knife, feel back, pull your fingers back out of the way, go down, pull your fingers back out of the way, go down, and so on. And then you repeat that motion in however many slices you want to go back, but always keeping your fingers curled under and keeping your thumb back out of the way as you come back. And I'm just mimicking that I have food in it, but you get the general idea. And that's how you would slice your product in that. So that's how you use those knife guides. So those are 3 different knife guide options for you. Thank you for visiting Low Vision Chef for our basic series, and I hope this information is helpful to you. Keep cooking.